A tougher game for the Bulls in this one, but the good thing is the Bulls still won, and it came down to a very exciting ending, but it is also why it gives us a little dose of reality when we overreact a bit from the first two games. But how can we not, right? I think we're all just excited to see what this team can do when we get to the regular season, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Guys, before I get into the content, we are nearing 15,000 subscribers, and as promised, I will be doing some sort of giveaway once the channel reaches that mark. Now at 10K subscribers, I did a series of 5 giveaways, with the final one being tickets to the United Center for a Bulls game this season. And I won't be doing 5 giveaways this go around, but I think the one that you guys will enjoy the most are the tickets to the game. So make sure you're subscribed before the giveaway is announced, and you do have to be subscribed in order to win the giveaway. So if you do want a chance to win tickets to the game, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're tuning into the channel so you don't miss when the giveaway is announced. But with that being said, let's talk about this game, shall we? You know, it's hard doing game recaps for preseason because it's so easy to overreact or read into things that may or may not be a problem in the regular season. And that even goes for the positive aspects of what the Bulls are doing. Kind of like the last 2 post-game videos I made it, in which we talked about all the great things that we had seen from this team compared to what we saw last season, but still adding that it's, you know, just the preseason qualifier. And obviously this game wasn't as impressive for the Bulls, in which they actually struggled to maintain a bit of consistency despite even still winning the game, especially as it relates to their superb passing. You know, we had seen it in the previous 2 games. Shooting from deep especially wasn't that great, shooting 25% from 3. Turnovers not that great as well. Bulls were a lot sloppier in this game. And then in regards to their defense, not as strong. We saw in the first 2 games as well. You know, they were giving way too many easy buckets, allowing too easy of dribble penetration for the Cavs. Markkanen had some hammer dunks on the Bulls in this game, some angry dunks on his former team at that. They were just a little slower on the defensive end. But again, I mean, all of this being said, it's the preseason. Obviously, the guys aren't going to be as motivated as you would expect them to be in the regular season, but obviously you hope you don't see this kind of effort against a bad team who were without a couple of their better players in Colin Sexton and Darius Garland in the regular season. Overall, though, as a team, Bulls shot 41% from the field, 25% from 3, only 18 assists compared to the last 2 games where they had 30+ assists in each of those. And then, of course, the 17 turnovers, where the Bulls had less than 10 in the previous 2 games. I mean, once you knew the Bulls were down, you know, midway through the 3rd quarter, and knowing the amount of minutes that the starters had already put in, around that 25-minute mark that Billy Donovan had mentioned they would be playing throughout the preseason, it was pretty clear that in the 4th quarter it was going to come down to the second unit trying to win this. And actually, they handled themselves pretty well for the most part. And with very a clutch performance from Dosunmu, you know, the Bulls were able to steal this one out with a win to go 3-0 in the preseason as we head into our final preseason game. DeRozan had himself a better game than we saw in the first 2 preseason games, although I will say his turnovers have been a little concerning. He has been a little lazy with the ball at times, but again, I think that comes with the preseason territory. DeRozan had 4 turnovers overall, but he shot the ball much better, 23 points, shooting 9 for 17 from the field. Guy was even showing off some of his range, going 2 for 3 from behind the arc. You know, the one thing I will say about DeRozan, though, is that we haven't really seen that playmaking side of his game as much as we saw last season. Again, I know it's only preseason, but that is one aspect of his game that I know we were looking forward to really have 2 solid playmakers in Lonzo and DeRozan on this roster. But DeRozan has been playing more off the ball or in isolation rather than focusing on setting guys up for plays. Vucevic didn't have the best game, but what I like seeing from him is some improved defense, right? He's been getting a fair amount of steals, intercepting passes in the lane. Lonzo Ball, I mean, you know, I told some guys this in the chat. I'll likely need to make a video sometime in the regular season if he continues this kind of play. That I was wrong about Lonzo, because he has just all around been solid on both ends of the floor. I mean, last game he was knocking down trays. In today's game, not as strong offensively, but 3 steals, 4 blocks. If you're not able to knock down the shots, figure out other ways in which you can contribute, and that perimeter defense that he's showing is exactly what we need. Lavine, a little quieter in this game, not as active on offense, only 13 points and shot 5 for 14 from the field. And it wasn't like he played in little minutes in this game. He actually played 30 minutes, which I'll be honest, probably a bit too much playing time for him in the preseason. You know, both him and Lonzo played more than 30 minutes in this game. I like that Billy Donovan is wanting to give the starters enough run together to really get prepared for the regular season, but you also don't want to risk an injury in the preseason either for a meaningless game. It was good to see Derrick Jones Jr. You know, he had a pretty solid game after he played little minutes in his debut in this last game. He finished the game with 10 points and 4 rebounds. I have to say, I love what I am seeing from Alize Johnson coming off the bench. For his size, this dude is a beast on the boards, especially on the offensive boards, bodying his weight in the paint for a bucket. At this point, there is no doubt in my mind that this guy will be making the roster, which, yes, there is a bit of a misconception across the fan base that Alize is guaranteed a spot on the roster. That is actually not the case. His contract is not guaranteed at this point. The Bulls will have to make a decision by the end of the preseason to fully guarantee his deal, which I suspect that they will. I've said this before. I think both of the Johnsons will make the final roster spots for the Bulls, and Matt Thomas will be a two-way player for them. But for Alize, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 5 for 6 from the field, a solid outing for him. Caruso, man, I really like this guy. You know, I said it back when the Bulls signed him. This might go down as one of the most underrated signings this offseason, and the guy hasn't disappointed so far in the preseason. Just a strong player, a hustler, scrappy defender. He finished the game with 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And obviously, I also like what I've been seeing from Ayo thus far. The kid is ready to be in the rotation while Coby is out to start the season, especially with hitting those 2 clutch shots at the end of the game with less than a minute to go. That was incredible, that last one. No hesitation, the confidence in isolation, and knock down the floater. I actually hope Billy Donovan gives him some more playing time in that final preseason game just to give him more experience and exposure. Same with Simonovic, who didn't get a chance to play tonight. Anyway, overall, still a good game for the Bulls. Not as exciting as the first 2, but hey, I don't think I've ever watched this much preseason basketball for the Bulls in years, and that's saying something about the excitement from this team. The Bulls are off until their final preseason game, which will be on Friday, but I'll still have content out throughout the week. As I mentioned, I'll also announce the $15K giveaway if it's reached this week, of course. So make sure you're tuning in for that so you don't miss it. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.